Yatish is also here.
Good
Pooja.
evening.
Great, great, great. Excellent. So, friends, I think without wasting any time, because I know your time is precious, our chief guest is also here. And uh, I must say, this is the first BMA webinar which we have started for this year, and it is going to be a continuous series. My name is Jagmohan Singh Rishi. I represent BMA, Bombay Management Association, and we are having an opening, opener by the name of Mr. Santosh Dayal. He is a very popular figure in the pharmaceutical and the learning and development space. I must say that I know him as a personal friend, but of late he's gone above the friendship level, and become a very popular author of a very famous book, which we will talk about it. But before that, I'd like to talk about a few aspects of BMA. So I'm not taking any kind of poll that how many of you are a BMA member or not. But at BMA this year we have taken a lot of initiatives. Number one, we have done Market Intelligence Summit, which was done in the month of May, and it was a huge success. We had 100 delegates. Recently, we partnered with a agency to do a L&D and HR summit, where we had at about 100 delegates over there, and it was a great success. Besides this, we have our own publication, digital publication, Igniting Minds, and that is a one publication which is digitally done, and it is a very popular one, and we get a lot of paid ads also in this, paid articles also. And recent one was done on presidents of BMA, and it was a great hit in across. Another initiative which is done by the BMA team, secretariat team, was the what's the final word, which is called debate competition among the academics. So this is a great initiative, and it was more sought after, and it was done at MET Institute at Bandra, and I think around 10 institutes participated in it, and it was a great professionally organized, relayed on YouTube also. Thanks to Supriya, Brinda, and Kasturi, they did a fabulous job. Along with it, we also did a article writing competition, which was won by Narsimhoji and Atlas, I suppose. And they did it beautifully again, essay writing. We are going to host one of the CSR Foundation's ICCCR for their graduation ceremony at our BMA office in Marine Lines, Marine Drive. So we will be calling them accordingly. And these are some of the things which have been done this year. We also hosted defense officers at our BMA offices, which was Navy, Army, and Air Force. And it was the session was conducted by KPMG, one of the directors over there, partners over there. So these initiatives will be coming. The BMA's webinars are one of the part of it, and we are going to host TTT program, which is in the month of February, and we are also going to host one of the coaching certifications, coaching programs for by where the coaches will be past BMA members, presidents, and that is something they can mentor the startups as well as corporates. So that is how it is, and in short, this is about BMA. Many of you must be knowing about BMA. If you do not know about BMA and you want to become a part of BMA, Supriya will put a link over there, her number also, email ID also. You can always reach out to them and become a member of BMA. So let me start for what you have been waiting for. There is a award also waiting for you. Those who ask intelligent questions to be decided by the author itself. Three of you winners can definitely get a signed copy of the author Santosh Dayalji. And let me start with an introduction. Ducking Nonsense. That is something the book name is, and something which always stays with your mind. Duck and Nonsense, and something which we will talk hear more about him. Author of Santosh Dayal, author of Ducking Nonsense and Leadership Mind behind Glenmark Pharmaceuticals capability building across India, APAC, and MEA. And he has over 25 years of learning and development experience. He architects training strategies that strengthen business performance and elevate sales force. At the same time, a certified strengths coach, Hogan practitioner, he blends behavioral insights with practical design to create learning that actually shifts performance. That's fantastic. Having coached thousands of managers, he's seen that leadership fails from the lack of a skill and more than unspoken workplace nonsense. So his mission is very simple: help leaders cut the noise and lead the sense. A fantastic one. I think your introduction is itself talks a lot about you, Santosh ji. And before I start shooting my questions, can you give a brief background about how this idea of ducking nonsense germinated and how you ensured that kali ko fool bana diya aapne? Is that is how it is. How did it happen, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Rishi, and thank you to BMA for hosting me today. I think it's a privilege to be with each one of you, listening or talking to you, and maybe giving my views on the questions which you are sharing. And thank you for the nice words, Rishi. I'm sitting in office and not so used to get listen to nice words in an office environment. So. I had a small chat with Shailendra, so hi to Shailendra also. Uh,
Yeah.
Hi Mandar, couple of guys who are on camera, but welcome to each one of you who are comfortably listening to me. Talking about the book, the idea behind the book, or there are two things to it. One is that this is the first book, so I always had this. You can call it as a dream that you can call it as a childhood dream. I mean, since our life is made by the books which we have read, and then that's the time the admiration for books was very high. I recall my childhood days when I used to go to library and take books on rent. You know, those days I have also seen. So that was it was there in the mind that maybe someday I would also write a book if it is worth reading. Then when you went into a career or a job, and then years fly by, and then you realize that you have got lot of learning, lot of reflection. I keep on writing my notes, so it then appeared to me that hey, it could be a good collection which can take a shape of a book with the guidance of some of my colleagues, with encouragements, with people around. I give it a shape, and then last couple of years been a serious work around it, and then it took a shape. So it was primarily about writing a book. Then the kind of work which I have been doing last 8-10 years made me to look for an area which will create an impact, especially at the leadership space. And that's the area where I've been constantly working, talking, listening. So that's the topic which I picked, where I felt that this is an area where everybody is an expert or nobody is an expert. People keep on talking about anything which you see in the world, you can relate to leadership. Whether you see a cricket match or a football match or a popcorn or a pothole, everything. So I thought that let me try my hand and maybe join the list of people who are doing it that way.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Thank you very much. It's a good opening stance over here. I will urge many of you to please keep your cameras on if possible, because it motivates the speaker and also the host also. So please make sure that your cameras are on and you can put a nice smile if possible on the camera. Let me start with some questions, Santosh ji. The flow will be like this, that for about half an hour to 40 minutes, I will be trying to ask questions, and last 10 minutes, we'll keep it for the Q&A from the audience itself. right? And the people who ask very interesting, thought-provoking, nonsensical questions, then you can decide to give the books right away itself today only. So we okay. So what gaps are today in today's leadership conversations made you feel this book is that is needed to be written? What are the gaps, particularly in leadership conversations? And how did you hear those conversations accordingly?
Interesting question to begin. I think what made me reflect a lot is that the gap between thinking, saying, doing.
Mhm.
So when you listen to them, you might be able to understand their intent. So this book is not about leadership intent. This book
Okay.
is more about leadership action.
Mm.
So by and large, people who are into leadership position or anybody who is leading, I think they come with an intent of doing good.
Mm.
However, what they think, what they do, and then in between what they say, these are three different things which I see. So that is what I see as a big gap in terms of the lack of congruence between what we say and what we do. That's one thing which primarily came out. And second is also that what we say is not clear. We have copied leadership habits from managers or leaders we have seen, and we thought that this is the way leadership has to be done, while it has to be built in your own way where we need to see that whether it is working or not. So it's all, the gap also today is that we see into people their habit and we just try to copy it blindly. So my book is about a call out of bridging this gap between what we say and what we do. Second, whatever comes in the vocabulary we say, we mean something and we do something. There is a lot of corporate jargons which happens, and we just copy it from the face value point of view, and we keep on saying it without knowing the meaning of it, without knowing that how will it land on people. So it's kind of a call out on those things, which I've seen quite a few. Not only with one set, but many set of people, kind of.
Great. Thank you. In fact, I remember, it's a very easy read also. I have kept it on my bedside. Unfortunately, I'm not able to complete it because I travel a lot. So I have already finished about half the book, and a lot of stories you have put in that. I from your personal experience, from your childhood also, you have put some stories into that. And let me ask the next question is that the title Ducking Nonsense is a playful title, whereas your content is also serious and you also very serious looking, although I know you personally. So what kind of leadership behavior are you most concerned about today?
I think, Rishiji, this is the paradox which I live. I'm a hedonist also, as well as I'm a serious looking person. So it's it is the paradox which I live. And leadership in itself is a serious conversation, but I wanted to take a little lighter take into it. I think leadership could be a serious issue today, but leaders need to take themselves little less seriously. They've taken
Mm.
themselves little too seriously. They've taken the front seats over there, and that has been a problem. So I wanted to reach out directly with the name itself. Ducking nonsense means there is a lot of nonsense around in the world. There's a lot of nonsense which we get as leaders, and there's a lot of nonsense which we create as leaders.
Mm.
So this effort is about if nonsense comes to your path, and then the analogy is from cricket, where if you are not so good at playing a bouncer ball, learn to duck so that you can save your wicket and then play on your strength.
Mm.
And then second thing is that try to stop creating less of nonsense from your side. So this is an effort of giving that message to each one of us, including me. And then the stories, many of the stories, most all the stories are real stories. Maybe the names and everything has changed, but it gives the message from where I got the reflection or the inspiration to draw a point to my life and to my reader's life.
That's great. That's great. I would urge you to share maybe snippets of the stories in between whenever possible, wherever possible.
Sure.
Meanwhile, I'll also welcome Mr. Vishnu Kanare, who's our secretary for BMA, is there. In spite of he's on somewhere vacation, but he's joined us.
Yeah.
Hello, Vishnu ji.
Good evening, sir. Very interesting topic. In fact, I just wanted to add one small thing, although there might be background noise because I'm traveling. Often, sir, it is said that laughter, makes an organization or happiness makes an organization, vibrant and successful. And I think we have that well-known airlines example where the CEO and the MD said that let us all laugh our way to success. So, what are your thoughts about it?
I think if you're asking this to me, laughter talks about the health of the group. If you're working in a group, if people around you together can't laugh together, they can't work together, according to me. And this book is more about, can you laugh at yourself?
Hmm.
If you can't laugh at yourself, if you have a problem, then give this job to others who can laugh at you. So this book is about that. Leaders have taken themselves little too seriously. They need to remind themselves that they are just another person on earth. The earth's load does not depend on their shoulders. Loosen up, free up, and then working with people will be enjoyable, kind of.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And I can see Parag Amin also from Atlas University. Welcome, sir, on this forum. Let me come to the next question.
Thank
This
you.
is a yeah. So we have also seen that many times leaders or even people in the corporate, they confuse activity with effectiveness. Sir, लगे हुए हैं. So that is what activity is. How does the book challenge that?
So, what I call that, if you're doing an activity without reflection, you're adding to chaos, you're adding to noise.
Hmm.
And this book, towards the end, I've given a leadership kit, kind of leadership toolkit, which gives questions for a leader to ask to themselves. Where, if I'm doing any activity, before that, do I ask this question to myself? Before asking
Hmm.
to anyone, do I have reflection questions? So, this book is actually a reflection book, which is a playbook where leaders, if they can look for the trends or a pattern which they can identify in themselves, whether I'm doing this or whether I'm doing an activity without even any thought process. So the problem lies in action, without any thinking, and then coming back and saying that, hey, let's review. So meeting after meeting and meeting for conducting meetings. So this keeps on happening. So there's
Yeah.
the leadership toolkit, which is the valuable toolkit for people who would like to use it.
Yeah, in fact, I have seen that you have also made an audio book out of it also. And I must say, since I've also launched few books, but you have done the complete planning of the book launch in such a manner that it is digitally also savvy as well as book way also it is savvy kind of thing. That is something which is very good. And I think I saw your creatives on YouTube. Some of the videos are very nice. Time permitting, I will request you to share it on this forum also there when it is there. Let me come to the next question. You have chosen to focus on what leadership is not about, and what does this reverse lens reveal that traditional leadership books normally miss? There are a lot of books on leadership. So
Yeah.
what they have missed accordingly?
So when you say on Amazon itself, there are more than 57,000 books which has got, connection with leadership.
Yes.
When, and especially in the pharma industry, the kind of competition, you launch one brand, there will be 50 brands and it becomes difficult. So I have been
Hmm.
to a field where there are already 57,000 competitors.
Yeah.
While when I was looking for it, my overall idea was to look for sense making. So, according to me, this book is about how do you build sensible style of leadership. And when I did my own research on it, I did not find much materials that how do you build. So there's an EQ, IQ. There's a lot of things on that. There are many books which covers a lot of models on leadership, which actually has trained us, and we train many. Means
Hmm.
more than me. But this book is not about models. This book is about in a real life scenario. If you face a situation, how do you become? How do you remain sensible? And according to me, most of the leaders who are failing, they're not failing because of lack of skills. They have their education, they have their experience, they have the skills, but probably they are lacking that in moment sensible behavior. And that creates an image about them which actually makes them lose people. And this call is first about that first let me clean that up by calling out the nonsense. And then in the second section of my book, actually I'm talking about how do you do sense making in different scenario on a platform where it requires you to do things in an agile manner. How do you do it quickly? How do you do it in a real scenario? It's a real no on the ground test for people. So it actually calls out the nonsense. It is also talking about sensible style of leadership.
Great.
And
Definitely.
kind of a humble effort of taking one step over there. More and more people should join in this movement, kind of.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, as I think in the previous question I asked, though the title is very playful, but the content is very serious. And of course, you have made sure that at the end of the chapter there are some actionables which you have mentioned कि ये करना जरूरी है आपके लिए. So that it becomes easy for them to implement the learnings and making sense out of the nonsense.
Yes, yes.
So, which leadership habit do managers defend most, even when it is clearly know that it is not working?
Mm, I think what I would say that what we need a lot today is couple of things. One is clarity, another is courage,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of talk about leaders should flourish in ambiguity. Now, leaders will get ambiguity, but leaders should not demonstrate or distribute ambiguity. That's the paradox which a leader should live. As a leader's life, you might get a lot of ambiguity, but your job actually is to spread clarity. What happens in failure of cases, it is that ambiguity comes and you supply ambiguity. And to call this out, to challenge this, actually you need courage. You need to say stop somewhere, rather than saying that, hey, let us uh, park it. This is one jargon which people will use it. People will park it, but they will not go to that park forever after that. It is that morning walk park which people know nobody is visiting again. We say let's take it offline,
Yeah,
and that offline never happens.
offline never happens. That's
So
right.
then you lose your credibility. As an individual, as a leader, you lose your credibility. People will appreciate you if you are able to bring out that vulnerability that, okay, I do not know the answer. Let me figure out. Let us work together on this. And then many leaders think that they are, I'm calling out in the very first chapter that we are not in a movie, so stop acting like a hero.
Hmm.
Just because you're a manager or a leader of a group, it does not mean that you're a hero, you're a superhero, and then you will be the savior of the entire group. No, sorry, you're just another human being. Maybe your responsibility could be different, your role is different, understand that, but your role is not a repairman or a savior. Your role is more of a leader. So these are few things which I've observed. There are many which I've called out in the book, which I think if people can visit, they can see.
Can you share one of the two anecdotes or incidents from the book, which are very close to your heart?
I think in a chapter which speaks as fix yourself first, you are the drama you're avoiding.
Yeah.
One of the chapter which I'm calling, I'm talking about the types of ego which leader goes through. We keep on saying that we should avoid ego. No, I'm not talking about the ego or id ego and all those, the child ego and the adult ego, parent ego. No, I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about people who are into managerial position, who are into supervisory positions, who are into leadership position. They they develop different kind of ego, and I've called out six of them. And those ego, I would just name one is about ego of intelligence.
Mm.
Other is about ego of intelligence is that since I'm at a position, I'm an intelligent person, and that's why what I say is actually having holding more value than what you say or what you can think. And then your next generation has come. There's no guarantee that your position makes you more intelligent. Your intelligence might have helped you reach over there. So uh, there are people who are from a blind spot point of view or unknowingly also behave like that. Like this, I'm also calling out ego of clarity, ego of experience,
Mm.
ego of certainty. There are many leaders who will say, I'm certain that after 6 months this will happen. It's better you become an astrologer, you will make more money. So rather than saying that I'm certain the business place is evolving, it is a dynamic place. Yes, you can predict to the nearest expectation, but you can't say that this is going to happen. If it is going to happen, then maybe you're a prophet. Ego of voice,
Yeah.
ego of success. So these are six ego, which is I think my sense of work, which has gone into learning and different kind of leaders, and I believe people would like and relate to it, and then they might
Can,
identify.
can you show us the book, please, on the camera in front of your face? Yeah, we can see
Let,
the book here. Yeah, it is clearly visible now. Nothing nonsense, very bold color, white, red and white, of course. And friends, I strongly recommend because it's a fantastic book which I have personally read in that. That is there. Thanks for sharing that six egos which are there. And I totally agree with you that, many times just because of the stars on the shoulder, we believe that we have more knowledge, more clarity than anybody else. Whereas, I think we were discussing in the last meeting also that a good leader is the one who hires smart people in his team or her team. उससे उनसे खुद से ज्यादा स्मार्ट हायर करता है उनको रिकॉग्नाइज भी करता है अकॉर्डिंगली. That is something which is a good leader is, and one who's not insecure because of the team's intelligence, team's competence, and other aspect. So
yes,
a good leader's job is to facilitate and remove difficulties. Thank you very much for bringing out the six ego states, not the transaction analysis, but that is how. So I come to the next question that the book draws heavily from real workplace situations like you mentioned about ego of clarity, ego of intelligence. What patterns kept repeating across roles and industries?
I think roles. What I one thing which I've seen very common. I think if there are 40, 45 of us, and if you go and ask anybody in an organization, enter any building, ask this question. I've tried it many places for my personal reasons. Also, I would visit offices. or shopping malls, everywhere you'll go. And if you ask this question, that who is the leader, that person will always point on someone else, not on himself or herself. So this is one irony about leadership, is that people always think that leadership is always above me. I am not the leader. They'll always say there's a leadership group who takes the decision, and I'm not part of it. While my call out in this book is about each individual who is taking an action, who is thinking about making a decision, who is making any movement, is a leader. It is not about you will have a 25 people reporting into you, then you become a manager. So this is one pattern which I see among people who begin their careers. They think that unless until I have five people reporting into me, whose leaves comes to me for approval and I feel good, then only I become a leader. No. So this is one pattern I see commonly coming out, where people need to understand that each one who is taking any, I call it as leadership is the power of influence. If you can influence people, you're a leader. If you can't, you're just a position holder.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very rightly said. Uh, in fact, there was a thought coming to my mind when you were talking about that. When leadership wi- with there is a saying also in Spider-Man that with the responsibility comes accountability, with power comes responsibility.
Responsibility. Mm.
I think one of the most reasons you comment on it. It is just thought came to my mind that many times in the corporate world, the managers and the people, they don't take decisions for the fear of accountability in other कि blame मेरे पे नहीं आ जाए.
Yeah.
So what do you say about this basically?
I think there could be many reasons, couple of reasons. One reason is that many people want
Hmm.
to look good. So we want to look good as people, as leaders. We want to be praised. We want to be appreciated, and that's why when some of the difficult decisions come,
Hmm.
many managers find it difficult to take that call. While
Hmm.
it would require you to do that difficult call, and that is called as accountability from your position point of view. So I call in my conversation also is that leadership does not mean that you have to do always nice things. Leadership might also require you to do not so nice things, but in a
Hmm.
nice. That's the challenge. Not so nice,
Yeah,
still in a nice,
sometimes you have to take some unpleasant decisions also
yes,
sometimes
but in a nice way.
in a nice manner, definitely.
So
Absolutely.
that's one challenge which many of us face, and which we are worried about our identity, our image, which people create, the
Yeah.
perception which people create because of our decisions. So these are few things which people need to maybe overcome their self doubt.
Hmm. Meanwhile, sir, before I ask my next question, I'd like to welcome Mr. Suresh Matre. He has been our president of Bombay Management Association in the past, a leading HR leader in the industry. Welcome, sir. Thanks for joining the forum over here. And let me come to the next question. Is ducking nonsense more about learning new skills or unlearning old beliefs, and why it is so?
I think if people who've read 8, 10 books on leadership, one new thing which you can find out, which I'm presenting, is about how do you make sense of
Hmm.
things. There could be a process around it. How do you question yourself? While it is more of a cleanup exercise, I would say. So, some of the old beliefs which we need to clean up. So, one of the old beliefs which unconsciously or maybe subconsciously we carry is that managers are better human beings, because we call our reportees as we become superiors, and even HR defines the higher up guys as superiors, but I don't know for what reason they don't call the other guys inferiors. So this goes into our subconscious mind that, hey, if I'm superior, then it means that somebody is inferior to me. So it goes over there. So these are some of the points which I want to clean out, and I want to challenge those kind of beliefs that you only have one difference is that you might have a higher responsibility compared to other people. So the responsibility has to be understood, while people need to make understood about their responsibilities. So that's the way the leadership role has to be. My role is to make people understand, influence, rather than create an environment where they don't feel like getting coming to office or working on a particular group or something like that. While the environment is going to be challenging forever, it is going to grow even more challenging in future. So that's why leadership sense is something which is very important in future, I would say.
Sir, but many of the organizations are investing very heavily because of the DPDA Act or maybe the regulations in every industry, pharmaceutical or banking, insurance. They're investing very heavily on leadership development. Where do their efforts work or they fall short as per you, as per the survey which you have done?
I think the two three methods to it. One is that most of the organization follow a competency based leadership development. We
Yeah.
identify 20 competencies, 15 competencies, 10 competencies. We hire people, and then we then promote them, or we hire people into a position, and then we say that, hey, these are the competencies. Let's try to shape up over there. The failure, I think, according to me, that becomes a separate exercise, and then your life becomes a separate exercise. The leader comes back from those leadership development, lead camp, boot camp, and all those, and they say that there's no relevance, there's no connection. So the failure lies in the stitching of these two pieces. Workplace dynamics and the event dynamics are two different things. This is what I have seen by and large. Second, the focus, according to me, has to go more on leader development, uh, where the person who brings in a particular quality, do we really identify and understand that? And then what makes that person to give the best in that environment? So this, my call is also about how do you bring your own sensibility rather than trying to become someone or something which might take you 10, 15, 20 years to become. And maybe by the time your tenure is over and you've done a lot of damage to people and organization.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, that's right. So, although this investment in leadership development is happening a lot, still they are not, coming up to their expectations. What can be the reasons for it, sir?
I think this is what I said, that one gap area was what I say is that, are we clear in terms of whether the workplace dynamics and the expectations, are they married, are they matching with each other?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Are we having an environment where people can apply those idealistic? So I would say that our leadership development still is on idealistic mode, that ideal leaders should have this, but when you go out in the market you will not find those ideal leaders. So this is the
Mm.
gap which exists. My
Okay.
call is about being more realistic. It's a call on being more. This comes from a thought of realism rather than idealism.
Great. I think your talk is very interesting. We started with 30 people. We are still holding fort with 45, 47, 50 people.
Thank you
And
for
that
this.
is talking about the power of the magnetism of your topic and the way you are addressing it. Shailendra, I will request you to keep a note of your questions. And I would request you to start asking questions after. I will not take much time of sir, but I will, once these my questions are over, I will request Shailendra to please compile the questions. Shailendra, you are there? And I will urge all the participants to, post your questions in the chat box so that, the best questions can be rewarded accordingly. Sir, if a reader finishes the book and changes just one daily behavior, only one daily behavior, what can it be?
In fact, I've given 33. So, and then in a way that every day, if you're looking at even if one behavior,
Uh-huh.
and then try to inculcate behavioral change is not so easy. You understand, we
Absolutely.
have spent our life, but if you want to change a behavior in you, then it becomes kind of doable. Changing behavior in others is kind of difficult thing. So I'm calling out those 33 different behaviors which they can think about. So for example, if they go to the leadership kit
Mm.
and then
Hello.
then if say suppose I'm reading one of the behavior
Mm-hmm.
is mm, behavior number 24, which I'm calling as modeling real over perfect.
Modeling.
Real over
Uh-huh.
perfect.
Real over
So,
perfect.
so if am I a real person or am I a perfect person? We keep
Okay.
on chasing perfection, and in that chase we achieve actually nothing. So can I be a real person when I'm interacting with people rather than being a perfect person? So that is a question. Mm.
Mm.
Another can be a pause of 3 to 5 seconds before reacting into difficult situations.
Wow, that is a power of pause.
Build this power of pause.
Mm.
Pause of five seconds when we are not into. Certainly, we are not pilots. We are not flying airplanes and all. We are dealing
Yeah.
with unless until we are doing that. I would not suggest that. But we are into a situation where we can listen to people, put a pause, and then give our response. And
Mhm.
the science, the study of EQ says that 3 seconds are actually enough for your amygdala hijack to come back, and then you can be normal in terms of
Mm.
response. So give
Mm.
yourself 5 second pause in such tense situation before answering. So such kind of behaviors I've listed down. People can pick and choose of things of their choice.
I think some of the behaviors are very, very interesting. Power of pause is one of them. And those people who master this power of pause, it is something really, and many people, including me, it's work in progress. Let me be very frank. Let me come to the last question because okay, it is 45, but I don't I want to miss this last question which I written for you that talks about that when it comes to uh, when if somebody has to implement a particular initiative in an organization after reading your book, what can it be, sir?
I think I can say that if rather than thinking about a leadership development, it can
Mm.
it can be a guide for leader development. You bring in your leader, do a discussion around it,
Mm.
tell them to challenge their own thoughts, challenge their own behaviors. What
Mm.
behaviors are nonsense behaviors? What behaviors could be a sensible behavior? This itself is one activity which people can initiate on this. While there can be a program around it, which I'm currently working on, but uh, purely it can build a conversation around that. What makes me unreal? What makes me bring out a lot of nonsense in this environment? And what kind of nonsense I am handling actually?
Okay, great. Of course, you've given some very thought-provoking ideas at how we can ensure that we make sense out of the nonsense in the organization, in the corporate world, and our lives also. Well, at this juncture, I hand over the session to Shailendra. Shailendra, you can
Yeah,
start asking some questions to sir, and may some best questions be recognized accordingly by sir accordingly.
sure, sure. So thank you so much. And that was really a very nice discussion, Santosh. I could see, couple of questions, and many of them they are comments. They are not in the form of the questions. And as I invite and encourage my fellow participants to ask more questions, maybe one, the ice breaking questions out of all the nonsenses, out of all the nonsenses, which nonsense has pushed you much to write this book, sir? If you can narrate a bit on this for our audience today.
I can't pinpoint on one, but one nonsense which keeps on floating early morning in your WhatsApp is the difference between boss versus leader, leader versus manager. So there's a lot of nonsense which keeps on floating, where people keep on adding their definition. This is a boss, that is a manager, that is a leader. Where actually the understanding about leadership as a behavior and manager as a role is very low. So that is one broader nonsense I would say, which is so my effort is to help people understand that leadership is a responsibility, leadership is a behavior, while being a manager is a role, and they are not, uh, no, they are not competing with each other. They're actually complementing each other. So that's the effort which I'm trying to bring in this book.
Now, I think it's pretty cool. In my, I know
I am missing your voice, Shailendra.
Your voice
is
is cracking.
okay. Is it okay now? Is it okay now?
No, no, no. So let me just chip in over here.
Yeah.
So some of the questions which are here, it says that does your book or toolkit also address the nuances of leadership required in startups, gig economy, where leaders have to manage Gen Z and Gen Alpha workforce? This is by Mandar.
Okay. So I think Gen Z, I have got a little different opinion, or Gen Z or Alpha. Uh, According to me, there's a value in categorizing people like that, but I still feel that this is probably categorization of people for our own convenience rather than helping those set of people. So maybe if you're managing a large workforce and then categorizing people by their age or sex or gender or whatever, then that makes sense to build some policies. But when leadership is a one-on-one relationship, it's a between people relationship. So if we keep on categorizing people on Gen Z, and then probably more negative thoughts would come, or more thoughts which is a different kind of a thought, that let me treat them differently. And this is about human relationships. So leadership can stay human whether I'm dealing with a senior person or a junior person or a baby boomer or a Gen Z person, whosoever. If I treat that individual as a human being, I think the person will still respond. And I call it as modern style of leadership, and that's why people would relate to it more often. Younger people will relate to it more often. Those who have not seen the pattern, and I think this way it would help in younger generation also.
Right, right, definitely.
Am I
In fact,
audible now?
yeah,
Am I
yeah, you're
audible?
audible now.
Okay, I'm sorry for
Limit to
that.
two questions only now because the time is going. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah, so I think one of the point that has been taken well and people are resonating it quite well is practicing the pause of 3 seconds. I think there are a couple of people who are mentioning this. Rupinder is one, and Siddhesh. They're saying ki this is very important. And how do you actually encourage and how to practice that? And maybe those situations, if you can articulate, so this will help people understand in those moments and situations how actually it helps.
So I said that unless until you're a pilot or some, you're an army man. In fact, they are trained to react. In army, they are trained to react that within the very first millisecond, how do you shoot? Otherwise, the enemy will shoot you. Now here we are not fighting an enemy. We are we are collaborating, and that's why an opposite training has to be given to people, that your amygdala hijack should not pull you down, and that is what I call as PQ. We have heard about EQ. We have heard about IQ. In this book, I'm talking about PQ, which is pause quotient. How much
Wow.
you are in building pause. Now, it means that if a situation comes to you, you should first think about that I am actually hired for those situations. And then, giving and taking, there's a method which says that, taking a deep breath and counting one, two, three. I'm actually saying four or five because maybe at the corporate place you might add, might see a deeper nonsense because the other person keeps on speaking. So you might have to hold for 5 seconds. So I'm saying counting one, two, three, four, five mentally. That's the method which actually works really well.
So I thank you for coming well articulating. In fact,
Calendar, again, your voice is gone.
I'm really sorry.
Okay, let me ask a last question here, which is a very
Maybe you
interesting.
can type, Shailendra, I can take that up. Yeah.
This is a question by Miraj Sheikh. I mean, in leadership roles, how do we balance humility with authority, especially when ducking nonsense may be understood as disengagement or lack of involvement? Very interesting question.
I think, according to me, leadership is a paradoxical position.
Yeah,
It is not, tilting towards one and forgetting others. We are expected to be humble enough and still tough enough. And the highest level of intelligence is defined as keeping a balance while still maintaining two opposing thoughts in the mind. And that's the test. I think if people are able to do it, they'll be called as sensible leaders. Those who are not able to do it, they'll be called as toxic leaders. So that's the choice which you may have to take. How do you do it? It is that moment you have to live it. So I think, no matter of whatever we learn, get trained, it is the competence of that individual which actually goes on test. No matter how much you do net practice, it is on the ground you need to go and make scores.
great, great, definitely. Thank you very much. In fact, there are some questions which I repeat kind of. Mandar has also asked a similar kind of question that, cost of compromising growth with individual involvement. It is also the same question which Miraj had asked earlier. There is another question by Parag Ji, Dr. Parag. Can you throw some light on what qualifies to be nonsense according to you? Because it is so relative.
Yeah, I hope he's not saying relatives are nonsense. On a opposite side, but we see a lot of nonsense that side also. I've given a tool called as nonsense radar. So
Oh,
if you open that nonsense radar, if you look at that situation and maybe imbibe it, you'll be able to find. And I agree to a point that what might make sense to me, what may not make sense to you. And the entire genesis of this book is from the concept of Carl Jung, who says that mind always looks for sense versus nonsense. Mind never looks for what is right or wrong. So if you are able to detach from right or wrong, I think we will be able to look for sense and nonsense. So I can't answer it exactly from your point of view, but yes, there is a radar from my point of view which finds a place in a book. The entire chapter.
wow. Very, very rightly said, and I will look forward to go through your nonsense later. And I think it very nicely put. The mind doesn't look for right or wrong, but looks for sense and nonsense kind of thing. What is making sense? Very rightly put. I think what we will do is we'll pause over here based on the power of pause, and maybe you can pick up three top winners, Santochi. Go through the chat and those who think deserve to be, although everybody sitting over here, all 47 who attended, deserve a book, but then we can't give book to everybody. We can give only to three people who dare to ask question, definitely.
I think, I would answer one question which is Mandar has asked,
Sure,
uh,
sure.
which is it going to be compromising growth for the individual if you keep on ducking nonsense? I said that if it is I call it from an analogy of cricket, which was if a person does not know how to play hook shot and compulsively just because others are doing it, I also play hook shot. More or less, they will end up losing their wickets. So if it is a matter of saving your wicket, you can still duck it and then play the next ball, because people who are throwing nonsense to you can't do it non-stop with. There will be a bad ball coming another way and then you can play on. So that's why I'm saying that having that sense to say that kahan pe chup rehna hai, kahan pe bolna hai, that is what is I'm talking about. And I would say that I would choose him one of the couple of questions which has come from him. So
Thank you, sir.
appreciate your question. Appreciate Dr. Parag's question also, because he has actually thrown light on nonsense radar kind of thing. So I would choose his question also, where he talks about that nonsense can be relative. I would also say that relatives can also be nonsense. And the third one, let me choose. I think there's a good question from Mr. Bedi, Rupinder Singh Bedi ji, who says that power of pause. I've been working for the first 3 seconds. A person who gets angry in a management meeting does not wait for 3 seconds. Actually forgets this pause rule and then starts. So probably he's telling that maybe other leaders need to learn it more often. Uh, so I know that we have to face a lot of situations like that where no model, no book, nothing works over there. But maybe at that time your courage helps. That how do you put it? If you don't like something, how do you put it to that gentleman or the lady that I'm not enjoying this and I'm not going to appreciate this. So this is also putting your sense in the right way. A good question, a call out question. So I would choose his question also, kind of.
Wow. So good. So three winners have been picked by sir. One is Rupinder, second is Parag, and third is Mandar. So congrats to winners, and we will be,
I would
getting
be
the
needing
copy.
their addresses, Rishiji,
Yes,
so that
yes, yes.
I can send it.
Can I request all three of you to please put your address in the chat box, and that so that we can copy it and send it to Santoshji accordingly. There is a
Let's do it
question
right
that
now. I can copy it on my laptop. So
yeah,
if we can do it,
absolutely.
I can wait. Yes.
So there is a question, where can they buy your book, sir?
It is available on Amazon. Amazon, where they are running right now, campaign also something. Somehow they thought that leadership can be sold at discount. So in a peculiar way, they are giving some 16% discount nowadays during this Christmas time. Other way, if otherwise through publisher also I can create a connect. But Amazon, I think since their deliveries are good, within a day or two they are able to.
Yeah, good, good.
I'll
I think
order it.
Mandar and Rupinder have put
Yeah.
their address. Sorry, somebody was speaking.
Yeah, I'll order it today itself. So I just put.
Okay, he's put the address, and I think third person's address is pending still. Parag ji, Dr. Parag, please put your address. And while you are putting the address, I will do a little bit of, awareness on BMA. Thank you very much for joining this. Next time we'll have a poll also, that how many members are there, how many non-members are there. And we have our membership drive going on. You can always connect with the BMA team. We have got lovely members over here, Supriya, Kasturi, and Brinda, and they would love to facilitate your membership at BMA. It can be life membership, or it can be annual membership also. It can be corporate membership also. So we are doing a lot of other initiatives also. Look forward. This webinar, BMA webinar series, will be continuing 2 webinars per month. Next is in January, and we will be conducting this next. You will be shortly hearing in the various aspects. Santoshi has requested for
Rishi
mobile numbers. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rishi ji, just one more thing. Also request everyone present, those who are members, to to respond to the members' Connect 360
Yes,
questionnaire.
yes, yes. So
That way,
BMA
we
team
will
has
know more about you and we'll be able to serve you better and give you, so programs which you will value.
yeah.
Right. Thank you.
So yes, yes. So make sure that you fill up that form which is there in all the groups itself, which is a survey form, 360 survey form, so that we understand our members better. We continue doing this thing. And in case you have a speaker who is matching the profile of Santoshji, please do connect with us, and we will definitely like to host them. And team BMA, great job done. Our benchmark was 25, and you have crossed double it, 100% performance, 200% performance by getting 50 participants over there. Well done, team. And once again, thank you very much. Yes, Santoshi, you were saying
Hey,
something.
Rupinder Singh ji, if you can put his mobile number because I'll be needing that.
Rupinder, please put your mobile number if you are still there. Rupinder?
Maybe you can share it separately.
Yeah. I think he is replying. Okay. Arijit Datta has also put his mobile number for your benefit. Yeah, Rupinder's mobile number is here.
Yeah, I got it.
Good, good, good. I hope you had a nice, enjoyable learning session of ducking nonsense. Maybe one or two liner feedback and thumbs up will help us motivate. Everybody, can you just give your reactions in the chat box? It'll be great motivation and feedback for us. I can see a lot of claps,
I,
thumbs
I,
up.
I would say, Rishi ji, in the era of social media where people are looking for subscribing, liking, I'm talking about read, recommend, and review kind of. So people do read this book, review it, and recommend it to your people who need it. So
Yeah.
that's one appeal which I wanted to do to each one of you.
Yeah, definitely. I can share one best practice. Always keep a book next to your bed. You read one chapter every day, you get a nice sleep also. Because you are removing some nonsense out of your mind. That is something. Okay, by the way, Supriya has given a message that we are live on YouTube also. The whole session has been, shown on the YouTube channel also, on our BMA channel. So great job. Thank you very much, Santoshi, for taking out time
Thank
for
you.
this. And thank you very much, BMA teams, Shailendra, Vishnuji, and other members from various BMA forums. Great. And we sign off. We are 5 minutes ahead of 6 o'clock. Normally, we stick to timing accordingly. Thank you very much. We
Yes.
are
Thank you.
Thank you.
closing the
Thank you,
session
sir.
now.
Thank you, all of you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Supriya, you want to say something?
No, I just want to say thank you to Santosh sir. Thank you very much. It was a really interesting session. And as I said even earlier, the topic itself was quite an interesting thing from all the perspective you can say of leadership. So it was really great to hear about all this, and in a very easy way and a simpler way, which is very important. Many a times, all these jargons become a little complicated for a leadership, and it sounds like a heavy dose. So this was a very easy and lovely session for all of us. It's a great beginning for BMA. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to all of you and wish you Happy New Year in advance. Till we meet next BMF webinar.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.